it's cool to me to, and I hold on to so much stuff from my wrestling that I have the card from when I wrestled Undertaker. I have posters. I have all the posters we've been on. I have all my figures. And I have them not for me, but someday I maybe want to hand them to my son and say, hey, here. And if he wants it or not, but I've been given the opportunity to give that to him. And he's one of the biggest fans in the world. So for him to be able to see what I've done and the person that it's made me, I can't really describe it. It's I guess if I had a goal in life, it was to be as good a dad as my dad, and I think I'm on my way. And I guess for me to be able to do that, it's super special. As much as you want to talk about like John Huber's as a person, Huber Boy 2, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper are all Jonathan Huber, and I'm that because of those three personalities, I guess, and it's professional wrestling made me what I am. It's very powerful.
Welcome everyone to 3 Count Thursday. Obviously this is a very different beginning to the show. Unfortunately, over the 6 years of this program, we've had to remember wrestlers that have left this planet. This one feels different because this wasn't a legend in like the late stage of their life. This is somebody that was cut down in their prime. Jonathan Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, of course, passed away Saturday at the age of 41. Usually when we do these sort of things, I run down accomplishments, championships, stuff like that. I think we know, on the biggest stage, on the indie stage, I think we're fairly well aware. And I had them written down, but before we're recording this is Wednesday night, and I watched the beginning of Dynamite tonight, and I saw a widow and I saw two kids, young kids, and like, it's not fair. And we talk about social media and the wrestling presence on social media and all of that a lot, and what it can be in a negative way. And Saturday, when I saw the news, like I had TweetDeck open on my computer. I was working on a couple different things, and TweetDeck updates. It's constant. It's in real time. I literally could not read a single tweet before it disappeared off the feed, and they were all like good and positive, and so it just, this one feels weird and different, and multiple days later, it's still like, it's not okay. Like this one's not okay. I can't. And I'm not even the biggest, I was not the biggest, Brodie Lee. I didn't know the indies. I learned who this man was with the Wyatt family. So, my timeline is a lot shorter than a lot of people's. but the clip that we played, the countless stories I've read over the last couple of days, it's not even about the wrestler. Like this was a good man. Like this one hurts on I feel like on a different level, and this is somebody I didn't even know. I don't know who wants to talk next. Tim, go ahead, because I mean I don't know, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk as ever long as this takes, ever long as we want to go. This is important.
Yeah. So I followed Brodie a little bit in the indies just because of my connection to Chikara. I knew Brodie. I knew he had a fantastic look, and I was not surprised when he got signed. But as you mentioned, it's not about like the way we knew him was through the wrestling,
Mhm.
but through it all, it's more of just the storytelling of those that knew him. Big E has been a phenomenal read the last 3 days, talking about his relationship with Brodie, with Harper, with John. I don't know him, so I'm not calling him by his real name.
Yeah, I get
That's
it.
the exalted one, Mr. Brodie Lee, to me. And but Big E talking about his connection with Brodie is heart-wrenching. Like, everyone has had like the most positive, most genuine reaction to like him as a person. And they talk about it a little bit during the AEW broadcast, but the only other times I've ever heard somebody be like unanimously talked about in this sort of light was when we tragically lost Eddie and we tragically lost Owen.
Yeah.
And to share the billing of even being a wrestler in the same sentence as Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart is one thing. But as far as the stories go, to be put on the same pedestal as a person and as a father, as Owen and Eddie, that is probably a bigger and better legacy than Brodie could ever leave in the ring. Like, just seeing the outpouring of love from both, quote unquote, both sides of the aisle. People give WWE a little bit of flack for like they didn't do enough for Brodie to remember him. But in my mind, it's actually big of them to not, because that's AEW's wound to heal and not necessarily WWE's currently. But either way, man, the whole thing sucks. I imagine doing this sort of podcast 5 minutes after. Like, it's tough for us to talk about now. I did this 3 days ago.
Yeah.
5 minutes after AEW released the graphic.
Yeah, I'll tell people right now. If you're listening to this, we've already said you should be listening to Final Wrestling Place, but check out this week's, if nothing else.
We just
you guys did a fantastic job.
We were supposed to cover the worst year ever. How apropos that on the episode where we're gonna like be lighthearted and joke about how like wrestling was really shitty in 2020, we actually have something really shitty to talk about.
That's the worst.
And it's like the worst. And so to go from satire to like serious and somber was a gear shift, but I hope it was I appreciate the kind words. It was just a genuine reaction from the two of us. Like Marcus, my podcast partner, best friend, brother, like he knew Brodie.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he's in a super secret text chat with a lot of other people that you may see on television on Wednesdays and Thursdays, or Wednesdays and Fridays. That's when 205 Live is, right?
Yes.
Wednesdays and Fridays. And like he needed a minute. I understood, but it's just crazy, and I'm sure other people will talk about it too. I'm really, if anything else, I'm just pleased with the legacy that's being left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first of all, obviously, thoughts go out to anybody affected, by this. I know it's not just direct family and people that are in AEW and have worked with him in the WWE. Excuse me. A lot of Binghamton friends I know have that whole area of New York is hurting today. I've never worked a show with Brodie Lee. I've known people who have. I've known people who've shared the rings with Brodie Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper. Yeah, this one just hits so different for some reason, and I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason why. I said before we went on the air, I'm never an emotional guy. I make jokes about things inappropriately at times, but that's how I cope with it. And it's one hits differently. Seeing Colt Cabana open tonight's show, opening contest, and just the emotion in him before he went and wrestled his match made me emotional, which is a very, very hard thing to do. I keep things very close to my chest, but something just hit differently for some reason. Age, maybe the unexpectedness of it, but I think it should give everybody an appreciation for life and what they have. And I truthfully hope this will end some of the war that we see regularly between fans of promotions. We've saw AEW guys retweeting the WWE graphic. We've seen WWE kids and wrestlers retweeting the AEW graphics. Calling him Brodie Lee, never called that in the W. There's not a war here. These are friends. These are brothers and sisters in a business that the battle lines are drawn between marks like us. And really that should put into perspective what's really important and what's not. Two quick side notes. I'll try to keep it brief. If you've not seen, Tim, you brought up Chikara. If you've not seen the Brodie Lee, Claudio Castagnoli cage match in Chikara, it might be one of Brodie Lee's best wrestled matches in his entire career. Tim, I'm assuming you've seen it.
Yeah, I have, and just to double down on that, I think it's free. It's up online for free on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's monetized by Chikara, but if it is, screw them, and go to independentwrestling.tv. Use the promo code @odds or Mortis for 5 free days, and you can cancel after that. But Brodie has many matches on independentwrestling.tv, including his run in Chikara, with the match we covered on Final Wrestling Place with it's Brodie's last match in Chikara against Eddie Kingston. So, and that's another big match, but back to your time.
I just pulled it up on the YouTube. It doesn't look like it's monetized. I didn't get an ad to start. So it's a match that you should check out. It's 18 minutes long, but as a wrestling fan, take the time and check that out. Um, and just an offshoot, I was just always connected to the character. I picked this up when he was Luke Harper in the Wyatt family, which was a huge part of, I think, my fandom of Bray Wyatt. But my very first Combat Zone Wrestling DVD was the Best of Brodie Lee. It's one of the RF video compilations. Some really, really cool matches that we went to see later, or you'd want to see, later in his career. It's capped off by a CZW World Heavyweight Championship match between him and John Moxley. So where these guys are today, they've started years ago and planted these seeds of the characters that we see today. So I guess my message is enjoy the day. There's not a war here, and support independent wrestling and get to know these guys today that are going to be the stars of tomorrow.
For me, I was always kind of beating the drum of the technical wrestling skills of Luke Harper. That's what really drew me to him when he was in the WWE. I always said top 5. I would say maybe even top 3. But I mean, just listening to that sound clip of him talking about how it was more important for him to be a good father than anything else just is kind of what you can tell. Like, and I mean, when people pass away, no one comes out and says bad things about them. If they don't have anything positive to say, they're just going to remain quiet. So the amount of people flooding the Twitter timeline with good things to say is just a testament of the man that he was behind the character that we all knew. I remember when you got, I forget who exactly sent it to the group chat. It might have been you, Jim, but when you sent that, I was at a loss for words, just because, this one stung. It was similar to like when we met Roddy and then lost him a few days later, like that just kind of out of nowhere thing for different reasons, but still it was one that hit me harder than deaths in the wrestling business have, which is unfortunate. Like we've become numb to seeing some of these legends pass away just because it happens so frequently. So this one just is different because of the timeline of it. You saw someone who had a ton of promise, was starting to showcase what they could do. Getting that shot in AEW, a different shot. Not that he didn't get a shot in WWE. It's just kind of different. And that also speaks to just the depth of him as a wrestler. So it's a big loss. But I think that both companies have done very well in their tributes. I did see the negative reactions, the not enough stuff. And to that, I mean, it's WWE, I think. And I'm not one to shy away from criticism of WWE. I think at this point, it's them just not wanting to step on toes. This is AEW's loss. It's a wrestling loss first and foremost, but it's AEW's to kind of go with first. I think we might see more probably as the week progresses on SmackDown. We might see something else now that AEW has had their moment. But I think it was handled very well by both companies and by everyone involved. And to echo Tim's statement, I mean, the Big E stuff is just, as a fan of the wrestler, like to hear the stories is just really awesome at this point.
If you haven't seen the clip of Xavier and Kofi on Raw Talk this week, seek that out. It's only a couple of minutes. It was on WWE's social media Monday night. Yeah, and I was reported that they had recorded some things at the building on Monday. So I don't know if they're going to be used on SmackDown or at a later point. But yeah, I do think that they were giving the first opportunity, quote unquote, at the memorial to AEW because, you know, I mean, yeah, it's a WWE loss, it's a wrestling loss, but first and foremost, this was an AEW wrestler. This is an AEW superstar. So it's their loss first, and you know, to give them, you know, and unfortunately it happened on the weekend. And Monday Night Raw is the first wrestling show of the week, and I think um, they were in a position where nothing they were going to do was right, and that's not me defending the WWE as I always do, but I think if they would have done more, there would have been criticism that they stole a AEW spot, and unfortunately we saw, you know, with what they did, um the criticism was that it wasn't enough. But I think that everybody has really, for the most part, we'll get to, you know, some of that, because we are going to do a quote unquote normal show, and an end of year show as we were planning. But we'll get to some of that. Intern Mark, I didn't mean to steal your spot there, but your
Oh, yeah.
thoughts.
Oh, you're all right. Um, yeah, Brody Lee. I knew of him. Didn't necessarily follow him a whole lot on Independence. Certainly knew him and enjoyed him as Luke Harper in WWE. Um, when he had the Intercontinental title run, I was really his work there. I thought was phenomenal, and I think he was two-time IC champ if I remember correctly. I got the
I think he was one-time IC, two-time SmackDown tag, NXT tag.
okay. Yeah, but honestly, yeah, great breakout star with the Wyatts. And like you guys were saying, everything you read on Twitter or on social media about what a good person and what a family man he was, just an absolute shame. Just a real quick story. Really, it's just such a minor story, but um, I guess it was a year or two ago up at Hershey Park. One of my security friends let me know that Luke Harper was in the park that day with his son. So I wasn't necessarily going around trying to seek him out, but I was certainly hopeful I would run into him. And sure enough, he was up there. He had tweeted out a photo, maybe the next day, of him and his son on, I don't know if they're on a roller coaster or by a ride, but I thought that was pretty neat. Um, but yeah, just an absolute shame. When I first heard about it, I was really hoping it was a mistake. Um, I don't think any of us realized he was sick or how severely ill he was. Um, but yeah, just a huge loss, not just to the wrestling world, but for his friends and family, and certainly the kids. I can't even imagine. Just terrible.
Yeah, I think that's what that absolutely crushed me tonight was, you know, seeing his kids, and it was Brody with the Dark Order mask, um and then Nolan. um I I can't even imagine what that's like to be his wife Amanda, and you know, the sons at this point. um you know, and you hear that clip, and you hear what Moxley said tonight, um and just how, we look at wrestling, and we're fans, and we get caught up in all of these moments, and how, you know, a booking decision can anger us, and how, you know, somebody not getting a push, um is, you know, it frustrating, or, you know, this guy deserves better, or this girl deserves better. And, you know, like Moxley said tonight, like, I mean, he loved wrestling, but it was a job. You know, he loved being a dad that much more. And the tributes and things that I've seen over the last couple of days, it spoke so far beyond wrestling that, um you know, it just, and yeah, it's just, it's awful. And you know, I think, Matt, you said it best. Like, it feels like Eddie Guerrero, it feels like Owen Hart, um because it's not supposed to happen at 41 years old, you know, 2 months after the guy's wrestling some of his best matches ever on TV. It's not, you know, it's not supposed to be that way. When I saw the tweet, from AEW, I had to like triple take, because I saw I saw the message, and I was like, and I saw the picture on the post, and I was like, wait, and then I had to like make sure it was actually from it, like the AEW account. And even still, for a couple of minutes, I sat on it, and I was like, this can't, like, I like, it just can't be real, you know. Because, and I started looking, I was like, I knew he hadn't been on TV, and I thought I had seen something about an ankle injury. Um, and I was like, it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense. And um and I think that was like the theme for the first like 10 minutes or so. Yeah, Matt.
I just also wanted to say, as we're wrapping up the thoughts on this, a huge tip of the cap to all of the wrestlers who are like showing how you can support the family. A big shout out to CM Punk for all proceeds of the sales of his shirts going towards the family and everything. I love to see the contract for his son.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a fantastic thing, and so I mean it. Just everyone in the wrestling community coming together to just honor someone like this. It says a ton, and we've talked again and again about a good man as well as a good wrestler, and that's just the testament to it. Because I mean, it's days later, and people are still just outpouring stories, support. Don't want to talk about any of the negative stuff, because the positive stuff is just outshining that. I think it's awesome.
I saw Mick Foley also all of his sales on Pro Wrestling Tees in January. All Brodie Lee merchandise will, of course, now go to his family. Collar and Elbow did a Brodie Lee shirt, EC3. I think the guy that does a lot of his artwork, he released a shirt. So there's ones out there.
Yep.
There's
a lot more of things that will be left unsaid as far as the way things are being honored. But another thing is on Tony Schiavone's podcast. Tony and Conrad are putting together a scholarship fund for in Brodie Lee's name for aspiring wrestlers.
That's awesome.
Those who want to be wrestlers and are just not able to go to school. So it's, I mean, the legacy is far beyond. So,
my thoughts. I'll close with this, and we'll go around if anybody has anything else to add. I think if we can take any lesson, I'm just as guilty at times with not necessarily the war, but just and we've joked over the 6 years of this program about trolling people and things like that, but we've seen over the past few days, like Matt or Ryan or one of you guys said, how AEW superstars are retweeting WWE sentiments and vice versa. And earlier today, WWE superstars are encouraging people to tune into AEW Dynamite tonight. The war is manufactured by us. We're trying, we remember, for those that went through it, the Monday Night Wars, and how awesome the Monday Night Wars were, to have to be in front of your TV on a Monday night and have to previous channel, TNT, USA, TNT, USA. Who's going to get my viewership? Because it was one of the coolest times to be a wrestling fan, maybe the coolest. But the war now is manufactured. It's trying to capture a time that is never coming back. And if we can take one lesson, I think from this is, and it's something we've also said from various times over the years on this show. Enjoy what you enjoy. Like what you like. If you don't like something, that's okay. You don't watch it, or let's maybe try to find, if we're gonna watch something and we're gonna commit ourselves to a product, to find things we enjoy. It's okay to not like something. It's okay to like something. It's okay to it's, as we've seen, and it is far too evident with this than it's been when a legend passes at 65 or 60. There's a guy 41 years old. I'm 35. That's 6 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, enjoy what you enjoy, and maybe we can all reclaim some happiness and into this community. And Moxley said it tonight. It's a community to come together, and maybe that's the lesson here. I think that's an important thing, is to remember that it's a community and we can enjoy it and be positive. So that's my thought. I mean, thoughts and prayers to Brodie and his family and everybody that he touched. But just we all can be better.
Take pictures. I saw Lufisto tweet something out about
all that.
And that hit me real hard. I know we've all worked shows before. Yeah, I'm not gonna shy away from that, I don't think, anymore. It was always especially as commentary, I kind of felt like, your role, you're here to do your job, sort of thing.
You don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to be that guy, right? But I feel like I'm not gonna let those opportunities pass to and I'm not just talking about like the draw at an indie show. Take pictures with your friends. Let's all just be better people.
So yeah, R.I.P. Brodie Lee, 41 years old. But when you hear this, it's Thursday. When we're recording it, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, Hal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never, ever end.
Everybody three, count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh,
wow. Well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass.
2020 is almost over, folks. Somehow we fucking made it. somehow we are here. We are on the cusp. We are just hours away from the end of this god awful fucking year. Just the worst. But there were some good things as well, and we're going to hit on all of those. We are 3 Count Thursday. You can go to the website, 3countthursday.com. Follow us on all of our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, make sure you check out our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Oh, Tim, you're still muted, guys.
What a maneuver. I mute my horde mic. I don't worry about the screen.
Thank you, Tim. You can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/3 Count Thursday. Of course, our home network in GST Sports. Arena Eats is our sponsor. You can also hear us daily at leapsports.com. Ryan, that would be.
It's spelled LEEIB sports.com.
That is the one. Make sure you subscribe to us on all of our podcast feeds. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music. Basically, if there's a podcatcher out there, you can find us on it. And I challenge you to find one that you can't find our show on. And if you do, well, just tell me about it. I'll make sure we get on there.
Are we on Sirius XM podcasts?
I don't think we have that one. See, they had a hard negotiation. It was 5 more years of Howard 100 or 3 Count Thursday. Unfortunately, the king of all media decided to stick around for 5 more years. So maybe 5 years from now, we will get that illustrious spot. But we're still working. We are still working at it. I only have a few things. Now, we're not going to do our full normal weekly segment because I didn't have things for tomorrow to cover. I didn't dig into too many things today, but I'll hit the birthdays. I'm going to hit today, December 30th, as we're recording. Ray Phoenix was born in 1990, and PCO, they were both born 1990, PCO 1990 as well. Sorry, I've been drinking since 5 o'clock. And on December 31st, when you will hear this, Matt Cross was born 1980, Danny Birch 1981, and Katie Forbes was born also in 1990. Is that RVD's lady, Katie Forbes? Yes. Okay.
PCO was definitely born in 1967.
Okay, then I definitely put it down wrong. I was like, 90 does not sound right for him.
He aged really bad.
So 67. That is my apologies.
He's 53.
Yes. Yeah. Math is hard. Numbers are hard. It's all challenging. But Ryan,
how you doing?
Whew. That opening was tougher to get through than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
That really was. I'm doing really good. I'm doing good.
Good. Tim,
how you doing?
I'm good. Listening to the 3-star general wax eloquently about Brodie Lee.
Awesome. Matt,
how you doing?
Doing well. Superman does good. Got my.
You ain't never seen me and Superman in the same place.
Got my extra toasty cheese.
Oh, those are so good.
Snacking on the show. Figured I would join in, but
only way to eat them.
My God, the extra toasties are where it's at, man. And intern Mark,
how you doing?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Well, hi, boys. I'm doing real good. We had a great Christmas. I'm ready for a new year, ready for some changes. And I'm doing very, very well.
Good. That's good.
Good. Yeah, I also, before I hit my broken skull, I hit this, it's from Aslan Beer Company. It's called the Wraparound Eyes Double IPA, actually brewed with grape juice.
Ooh.
Fucking delicious, boys.
I like
fucking delicious. But now I'm with Matt. I'm rocking one of these guys.
$10. Just saying, $10 for the can.
I'll go $9.50 on mine. $9.50.
Oh, you Price is Right, son of a bitch.
Man, does that include shipping?
Well, I mean, it may get lost in the mail, but we're not sure. We'll leave it at that. But I'm drinking all of my brews tonight through my Empress of Tomorrow mug.
Oh, who got you that?
Probably you. I will assume it's you, because you.
I feel like pint glasses came from Matt one year. Yeah,
that was me. Yeah, everyone got a pint glass the one year.
Yeah, I don't use glasses too often because I've always been a beer not snob. What's the opposite of snob? Uh Slob maybe. And I've always just drank cheap ass beers, so I just drink them straight from the can. But I've actually finding as I've come into the IPA world,
Gotta let them
much
breathe,
better in
Jim.
much better in the glass.
You are now drinking beer done right.
I got to make sure I get to Palmyra for some of that pizza, though. I mean, that's the best. It is the best pizza in the world.
I thought they were shut down.
No, not Lebanon. Not Lebanon.
That's another one, I think.
Yeah, that's Lebanon, PA. That's a whole nother bag of tricks.
Did you boys get any Christmas presents relating to pro wrestling this year?
I actually did not. I actually did not get any pro wrestling gifts this year. How about you guys?
Yeah, I did not either. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
We didn't see everybody yet.
Tim,
I should have stopped watching Impact or AEW,
no.
man.
Oh no.
I think they just retired the TNT title.
Oh,
and they
Jesus.
gave it to Brody Jr. And made him champion for life.
Oh wow.
Well, isn't that something?
Man, that's
during our segment, I flipped it on my phone and I saw the Redbeard come out in his sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I have it DVRing for sure. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we're done recording here. But
yeah, I'm gonna watch it back too. But
that's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
I feel like AEW has handled this flawlessly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I have I'm just looking down over Twitter. That definitely looks like what they did. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because Cody was the champ and he beat Brody.
Yeah,
So
that was what ended up being his last match.
All right, let's change our list of best ofs for 2020 already.
real quick.
Just write that in.
Yeah, because that's the segment we're going into. TNT champion for life. Tony Khan just gave him the title. Man. So yeah, we're gonna try to attempt to do best and worst. And Ryan, you had done kind of an addendum that instead of just best and worst, we're gonna go with moment of the year, and then best. And I was kind of going anything but a match, because we are going to do our top 5 matches of the year as we've done every year. So, I mean, if you have a worst that's a match, I mean, you can throw that one in because we don't do the worst matches. And the past 5 days aside, and I mean, I'm not going to fight you if you're going to put the events of the past few days or the last few minutes in moment best or what have you. But let's start with moment of the year. And Ryan, I'm going to kick it to you first, because this was your idea to throw the moment into the mix. So I will go to you first for moment of the year, pro wrestling in 2020.
Yeah, I like the idea of moment of the year, because we're definitely going to talk matches later on. And I feel like there's a big difference between professional wrestling matches that we are going to rank 5 through 1, and then an overall best moment of the year that you were going to leave 2020 etched in your brain. For this, and it may have a little bit of stink of recency bias, but my best moment of the year is a moment that I immediately went to work and I talked to a ton of people about. I shared with family members, because it's something I've never seen in a professional wrestling ring ever. The moment of the year is the Fiend getting lit on fire at TLC. It's something that I was able to take to people at work who are horror fans and say, dude, you need to check this out. This is something you've never seen before. First of all, it's a guy in a Tom Savini mask getting lit aflame, doing stunts, and then there's obviously the dummy. But that is a moment that I've never seen in professional wrestling. It is the spectacle of the year, in my opinion, and that is my 2020 moment of the year. TLC, Firefly Inferno.
Tim, I'm going to go to you next.
Sure.
Because I don't want to potentially steal yours. So I will go to you next. Your
Well, what do
moment
you
of the
think?
year.
No, now I want to know what you think I was going to pick.
Okay.
Bret Hart.
Wait, what did Bret Hart do in 2020?
Nothing. It was enough.
Oh, come on. My moment of the year was one that we were with you, Tim, and with Marcus in the year 2020. Back when you could get together safely with friends and or family or anything like that. And it goes back to the Royal Rumble. And
I take it back. I take it back. He can't pick it. No, I'm kidding.
It was Edge's return. It was something that, because I saw some of the potential leaks for Royal Rumble. I think like they were like people from a hotel across the street. They had seen like Victoria's Titantron playing. MVPs I think had played. There was no inkling that Edge was going to return. I think people have always like speculated like, well, what if he could? What if he could? And to hear that music, and honest to God, being with you and with Marcus, like guys that are like fucking huge Edge heads, to see you guys. I thought Marcus was literally going to jump through the ceiling in his apartment. And then like you guys are literally crying. It was like, it's an all-time fucking moment. Like it is like, and to go back and to watch that clip, and I compare it somewhat to like the Hardys at WrestleMania roller coaster, when their music hits and the place just goes banana. And like that's exactly what happened. I've seen so many fan videos from that moment, because everybody, who's coming next, and then you hear the music and it's just, the camera just starts shaking because people are losing their goddamn minds. It was just awesome. Like and I think because it was one of the few moments we got this year when things were still normal, probably plays into it as well. But that is my moment of 2020. So yes, Tim, I will now lend to you.
So this is meant to be like the best moment of the year, or is this meant to be like most memorable
moment of the year?
Okay, I'll be positive. Moment of the year for me was the night that Becky Lynch relinquished the Raw Women's Championship and took the mantle of Mother. The entire opening bit for that Raw, where they opened the Money in the Bank only for the title to be inside the Money in the Bank. You go be a warrior and I'll be a mother. And the moment that was shared there was when you put real life in it. Like that's what makes it so good. Kind of like the Edge return. Like there is real life element in that, and that's where I'll stand. Becky Lynch's pregnancy announcement.
Intern Mark, what is your moment of 2020?
My moment of the year. You guys took my number one and number two I was going to use. So I originally I was going to go with Edge's return. And I thought, okay, Jim took that. Then I was going to go with Becky, and Tim took that. So just to be different, I will say Undertaker's actual retirement from active wrestling in the ring. I don't know if we'll ever see him back in the ring. But that would probably be my moment. But really, I think Edge's return at the Royal Rumble was the biggest moment. But just to be different, I'll go with the Undertaker's retirement.
Very good. And Matt, how about you?
Yeah, and that was my third choice because so I mean Of 2020, there weren't a ton of like great moments. Like I think those are the top four anyway that just kind of stick out as like really cool, shocking moments. The Sting coming to AEW would probably be the other honorable mention. But for me, I think it's just more so that we got wrestling in 2020 with everything that went on. So the whole WrestleMania from home thing I thought was just really well done. Um, so I'll go with that. Like we still got WrestleMania despite everything. Wrestling fans could still like have some semblance of normalcy and say like, hey, WrestleMania is still happening. So that would be mine.
Yeah, I like that. And then we're gonna go to best, and then we'll do worst. So like when I you know, like I said, I wasn't necessarily thinking match here. I don't even necessarily like put it as moment. It can just be anything that you think of from this year in wrestling that you're like, you know, like that's the best. And I mean, mine's not going to stray off of my moment. I'm going to go the 2020 Royal Rumble pay-per-view as a whole. Like, you know, we love, I mean, we always love Royal Rumble season. It kicks off WrestleMania. There's always who's going to win, who's going to get the title shots, who's going to return. You know, you know, we're always kind of taking odds on well, this person has been away for 3 months, or this guy's been out, or what legends are going to come back. But like also at that show, we got some really good matches, including the Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan strap match, the Fiend with the Fiend and Daniel Bryan, like, you know, and we saw something different this year with Brock Lesnar as champion starting the match, and just there was so many great moments. I thought that NXT superstars in the Royal Rumble match held themselves really well. So like overall, I don't think Royal Rumble pay-per-views are always the best, anywhere near the best pay-per-views of the year, but you go back and you can watch the 2020 Royal Rumble, and I feel like that show as a whole was just so good, and it primed, and it's a shame that, you know, two and a half months later everything changed, but I feel like it was really just setting up for what could have been such a cool year in WWE. And don't get me wrong, they adjusted and they did things as they had to, but I would have loved to have seen what could have come out of the Royal Rumble. You know, with what they with what it looked like they were ready to do. So for me, my best of 2020 was the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Let's go back the other way. Matt, we'll start with you on this one.
For me, it's going to be storyline, and the storyline that intrigued me the most and was my favorite throughout all was the Fiend Alexa Bliss storyline. I think that captivated me more so than anything else in 2020 with wrestling. That one got me the most. So that's what I'm going to stick with.
Sweet. So we'll go to intern Mark. Mark, what is your best of 2020?
Well, I'll tell you what, I had the Royal Rumble as the best.
It's all right to double up and triple up.
Yeah, we can double down.
Yeah, we're practically hive mind at this point.
Yeah, I'll go with something different. I'll mix it up here. I think, and I'm pretty sure this happened in 2020. It's sometimes these years run together, especially with everything that's going on. But Roman Reigns' heel turn, completely heel turn in alignment with Paul Heyman. I know him with Heyman happened not probably the middle of the year maybe, but to me that really, I didn't think I'd ever really be interested in Roman Reigns or any feuds that he was having, but they proved me wrong with his heel turn and alignment with Heyman. I am a fan of that, so I'm going to put that as my moment.
That was SummerSlam 2020. You know, never see it coming. That was the Roman Reigns return.
While he's gone, like, hats off to Jim for saying, "Oh, I'll pick second this one and then first the next time."
You know, he's good.
He set the table there.
He's not bad. So Ryan,
He's back in time.
Ryan, what's your best of for 2020?
My best of 2020, and I thought long and hard. My best of 2020 has to be the revival of MVP and the Hurt business as a whole, and what that has done for the folks in the Hurt business. MVP brought back at the Royal Rumble, had I think a send-off match then the next night on Raw, coming up short to Rey Mysterio maybe, in a losing effort. I feel like that's who it was. It was the short one. But like that was it. And then we saw him like a month later. He did like an MVP loungy sort of thing. And then I think he announced like a month later, like, hey, I'm back. And shortly after that, it was, him and Bob and the Hurt business was in business. I don't think anybody would think if you talked last year of like, hey, what could happen in 2020? No one would say MVP comes back and has the longest running faction on Raw in the year. And has as much of an impact as he had. So hats off to MVP. You didn't say that.
Did everybody?
I would have if you had asked me. No one asked.
I feel like we ask every year.
I don't think we do.
I feel like we didn't ask specifically about MVP, but I'm sure your answer had something to do last year about Kylie Ray.
Ask
was
me,
also wrong, BTW.
Ask me who in 2021 is going to come back and have the longest reigning title reign in WWE.
Well, no.
We'll get to 2021 stuff. Here in just a little bit.
Matt, I'm curious who.
Goldberg.
Thank God.
Don't speak that into existence.
But my best of 2020, not to double down on anybody else's pick, but I'm going to say the rise of... Actually, no, I'm changing it. I'm actually going something serious. Best of 2020 was wrestling's big foray into the speaking out movement. The self-policing, the actual policing of some of the rotten underbelly of wrestling. Did we get all of them? No. Are we ever going to get all of them? No. But the light has been shown that, like, it's unfortunate that the bar was so low that in order to be a great person in wrestling, you had to just not be a shitty person in wrestling. And now a set for decency, like, you have to be decent. And like, not people are calling spades nowadays. Stuff's not flying. Statute of limitations. Like, I think statute of limitations is now over and done with because we just had this. So everybody saw the bulletin board material. Don't be shitty. And if you mess up now, nope, that's your card. Take your card.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing that's come out of this. I mean, obviously the horrible things that countless people in this industry had to endure is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that now that the veil's kind of been lifted, the curtain's been open, whatever cliche you want to put on it, the fact that, you know, if people can now feel comfortable actually speaking up when something shitty is happening, you know, that is a good thing. Like, if there's a change, and like you said, unfortunately, you're not gonna catch everybody, you're not gonna change everybody, you're not gonna get them all. But the fact that the majority of this business, and that's my hope, and I mean, you know, we all work with independent companies. The fact that, you know, if we see something, if anybody sees something that's not okay, the idea that you can actually bring it up now feels like a pretty good thing moving forward. That we can that policing the business is okay. That it's not this this boys club that you can't break that silent code or whatever you want to say, like that. That is something that is such a huge thing, not in wrestling, and society. There's been a societal change this year, so kudos to 2020 has given us a lot of shit, but if a positive change can start to happen in the wrestling business, that's a good thing. Did everybody else get theirs?
Yep. I grabbed the flag when you left.
Then my man. So let's go to the worst. And now again, you can, for this one, because obviously we're going to cover the best matches. We don't do a worst matches countdown because it would probably take us far too long to compile the list. But let's cover the worst. So what is the, yes, Tim?
I got it.
Tim, we'll start with you then. What is the worst of 2020?
Everyone can just pile on this one because I think this is a unanimous dunk show on the event known as Extreme Rules Horror Show. Not only did we get Braun Strowman eaten by an alligator, we saw somebody's eye get popped out. Kinda. It was
a fishing lure, eyeball, whatever.
It was horrible. It was the height of the COVID era theatrics, and they finally realized that it was just whole thing sucks.
That they jumped the shark just one too many times.
They did it twice on the same night.
My wife, who is not a wrestling fan, but will endure wrestling on our main TV from time to time, she is still making jokes about a man losing his eyeball.
Yes, it's horrible. Like, I
so
know.
The lesson learned is WWE you did not gain a viewer because Rey Mysterio's eye got plucked.
AEW is crushing in the ratings because of the Extreme Rules Horror Show. It's your fault.
Well, thanks, Jericho.
Yeah, that's the butterfly effect.
All right.
That hit the wrong one.
Oh,
stupid idiot.
I am one of those.
I'm an idiot.
Stupid idiot.
I'm an idiot. Who wants to go next? Worst of 2020. Anybody. Don't everybody jump at once. Ryan, go ahead.
I'll go later.
Okay.
I can go now. It doesn't matter. I can go now.
I can go now if Ryan
Yes,
doesn't
Matt.
want to. I mean, in a year where 2020 gave us the Big Show. And I'm not going to say my other one just in case Ryan lists it. So come back to me and I'll say if Ryan did or not. But my worst moment of 2020 was the whole Money in the Bank men's briefcase debacle. From start to finish, putting it on Otis.
And still going, by the way.
Right. And then they're like, oh, well, we fucked up. Let's give it to the Miz. Okay, sure. But then Miz just cash in, but not after the opponent that you want to face is like tired and beaten down and went through a group. No, do it before the match. Insert yourself and make it a triple threat because that will, I don't know, make you look better, but then you'll lose so you look worse anyway.
But he got it back.
And it's still a mess.
Right, it's still a mess. I mean, am I happy that Miz got it back? Sure. Am I still pissed at the terrible way they've handled this year? 100%.
Like they're just like making it up as they go, which is fine because it's pro wrestling and you can, but it's like, why? Like, why any of this?
Right.
Like, it's a shame that Otis didn't just come down. And, like when Becky gave Asuka the belt in the briefcase because she's pregnant, maybe Otis gives his to the Miz and says, "Oh, I have a food baby," because it couldn't be any fucking worse than what actually happened.
Ah! Oh, yes.
Tim.
So not to jump off and to yum on everybody's yuck right now, but I'm seeing sources from multiple places. The TNT title is being retired.
Okay.
So it looks like
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
super.
That's good. I actually
That's super. There's confirmation. Like I got it from a source who probably got it from a source on high.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like that is super cool. Like, you can create a new mid card title. You can do something.
You can just call it the TV title.
Sure. Yeah. Just do it, or make MJF defend that ring and do the ring for 6 months and then make a new title. I don't care. But that's but no, don't do that.
Don't
right?
do the ring. Don't like the ring.
Well, that would give us the worst of 2021 if they do that.
I'll take it.
But no, that's cool. That is that's super awesome that they're doing that.
Right. I think I'm ready to go now.
Go ahead.
Okay, go
What
ahead.
was named already? I just want to refresh my memory.
So Matt had the Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
And Tim, you had
Extreme Rules Horror Show.
I wish you two were both right, but you are both wrong. The worst of the year is Keith Lee's new theme music.
Oh, God.
Move on.
Well, his old new theme music.
Old new theme music.
Right, because he has new theme music.
Which still isn't great, but it's not
good.
as bad.
It's good.
It doesn't put it in a bad spot.
It's not NXT good.
No.
But it's
better
WWE
than, great though. Like
it's better than Rock Song number 7.
It was not good. It was not good. No, that's obviously not the actual worst of the year. The worst of 2020, and it's cliche to say it's going to be COVID-19. That is the worst thing that's happened to professional wrestling in a long, long time. I am sitting here tonight so glad that it looks like wrestling was able to weather the storm that COVID-19 delivered to us. Unfortunately for COVID, because of COVID-19, this is kind of my worst. Would be the unprecedented 20 plus layoffs that we saw from the WWE being future endeavored, plus the layoffs of the folks that I believe were brought back for the most part, producers, things of that nature. It has totally shuttered the live experience that is professional wrestling. So I don't think it was necessarily a given that pro wrestling would come out on the other side unscathed. And it seems like wrestling will come out and will be all right. Oh man, that looks delicious.
That actually does look absolutely delicious. What is that one?
It's Gangrel's blood.
That's what it is.
I'll take it.
It's the electric rainbow fruited sour.
It's the Fangin' and Bangin' exclusive.
Intern Mark, let's go to you next with your worst of 2020.
Dude, was Keith Lee's new ring attire taken?
Ring attire? No, that has not been taken.
It's theme music. Okay. Actually, I had his theme music and his ring attire down there as a joke because it was pretty bad. I think the worst thing WWE did in 2020 is they started out strong, and in my opinion, they just completely botched it or dropped the ball or gave up the whole retribution angle. I think it's horrendous. They lost any kind of momentum they had. Martinez went back to NXT. I have no interest in that angle at all. They're very good wrestlers, all individually or as a team, but under those new names and the attire, not a fan. Not a fan at all.
It's not great.
It started out with a lot of promise, and they just dropped the ball on it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it didn't. It definitely did not go well. All All right, what's that, Tim? I can't read it.
We can't read that.
Tony Khan just said on the Dynamite post show that the TNT title has been retired. So now it's officially come from on top, and Brody Jr. is officially being recognized as the final champion.
Damn, that is awesome. Between that and giving him a contract for his that.
It goes back to what I said with like best of the year. The bar for being great,
right,
was don't be a piece of shit,
right.
And like Tony Khan, like right now, even though we had hyperbole like a month ago, where like the landscape of wrestling or something ridiculously asinine for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we can dunk on Tony and AEW for certain things.
You cannot say a bad thing about Tony Khan in this situation.
In the last 5 days, they have done everything correct.
Have y'all seen Semi-Pro?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah,
so
such a great film.
AEW and Tony Khan right now are the Flint Tropics after inventing the alley-oop.
Yeah,
they're just everything is going up and they're just jamming it.
Yeah,
all day, everything.
It's spectacular. I just former guest of the show, friend of the show, especially to you, Tim. I Facebook post from Bryce Remsburg. When filling out your Booker of the Year ballots, don't forget -1 just under 2020 under the wire. Families aren't blood. Normalize telling your friends you love them. Thanks for sharing this with us.
Kiss your homies.
I mean it's that's kind of a great message to learn is take the moments, tell the people.
Real quick, just to piggyback on that, Jim.
Sure.
Kevin Owens 22 minutes ago, that was wonderful. Big E 25 minutes ago, what a wonderful tribute show. These are, again, WWE contracted professional wrestlers tweeting about a competitor's show, not watching a WWE owned product tonight. The war is dead. There was never a war.
There was never one.
Love one another. I love that Bryce ended with that. Let's normalize that. Yeah. Wow.
Spoke too soon. It's just that version of the TNT title.
Okay, so they're going to create
the TNT title is there's a new title that's coming. And the last person to hold that version
is Brodie Jr. Perfect.
So, that's still leaps and bounds better than anything else.
Absolutely. No, that is spectacular. So, I'm going to round out the worst of the year, and then we'll take our break and we'll cover matches and some predictions for 2021. But I had something written down when I came up with this topic, and it was the WWE draft, because I feel like the WWE made so many mistakes in the WWE draft. They broke up tag teams, they broke up trios,
and they did it like 2 weeks before the one pay-per-view where brand loyalty matters.
Yep.
Yeah. And everything that is kind of making no sense or they're trying to make sense of now is all because of what they did with the draft. Like you literally this isn't, the Detroit Lions making a last minute trade on draft day to throw Mel Kiper's predictions into a tailspin. You're literally writing this shit and you fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you break up the two conics. Fine. Why? Well, because reportedly Peyton Royce is going to have a singles run. Here we are 2 months later, and she's in a team with Lacey Evans, who's a great singles star. What? Why? You break up the New Day. Okay, so now Big E has the Intercontinental title, so it looks like it may be starting to make sense. But for a month and a half, it didn't make sense. Like, so many things coming out of that draft made no sense. But that's not my worst of 2020. Because since Saturday night, something that we've kind of talked about, over the years on this show and on Twitter.
Get on that soapbox.
Fucking wrestling journalism. Go fuck yourself. And I'm looking directly at Bruce Mitchell and the PW Torch, because this motherfucker goes ahead and writes a goddamn article that makes some of the most horrendous accusations about what happened to Brodie Lee. And then when you are dunked on by the man's fucking family, you have the option to go, I screwed up. I said things in an opinion piece, because let's be honest, it was an editorial. Editorials are an opinion piece. So you can say things, but if you get called out, if your bluff gets called, you have the option to go, my bad. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize to the family. I apologize to AEW. This motherfucker has the balls to go, no way. This is why I did it. Blah, blah, blah. So then he gets fucking 30 years at PW Torch. Motherfucker gets fired. And instead of now taking the L, because PW Torch gave a half-assed apology, they're still not out of the shit box, in my opinion. But they fired Bruce Mitchell. And instead of really taking the L, Mitchell doubles down and gets it put up on some, nickel and dime Reddit forum and explains why he's still justified that it's there. Fuck you. And it's not just Bruce Mitchell. Like there are people defending Bruce Mitchell under the guise of free speech and all of this. Fuck you. It was a baseless claim that is accusing a man's family who is grieving his fucking loss of hiding it because we are in a pandemic. Yeah, we're all in a motherfucking pandemic, man. We know the situation. Like, is that Bruce Mitchell? Wow, that motherfucker's squirrelier than I thought.
Yep, go ahead, take a look at it, Jim. He's looking right at you.
Jesus.
Let him have it.
Wow. Fuck you, Bruce Mitchell. Fuck anyone that defends him.
I have the right thing to say to Bruce Mitchell.
And that would be?
I hope your flight's delayed.
Hold on. Let me bring him back up here.
Yeah. Get that picture back up. You got to tell it straight to his face. What you want to say. But it's not, and wrestling journalism as a whole, like quote unquote journalism, because there's so many like shitty dirt sheets and people that just do things in scummy ways. Be better in general moving forward. But Tim, go ahead. Ryan's got the picture back up.
Mr. Mitchell.
Hello there, Tim. I don't fucking know why I gave him that link.
I love it. Keep going.
Hello there.
I have one thing and only one thing to say to you. I hope your flight gets delayed.
But seriously, stop. Like, just fucking be better. Stop being an asshole. Like, don't be a piece of shit. It goes like to don't be a piece of shit. Like, if you give an opinion, and you get called out, just take the L, man. Take the fucking L. Don't double, triple, and quadruple down on a fucking terrible thing. Like, it was fucking horrible what that asshole said and the accusations that he made. Like, and if you're defending him under some like I saw a Twitter account that it's another wrestling podcast, and I'm not gonna name him here because I don't even want to give him the fucking time of day. But these motherfuckers are standing there trying to compare it to some like fucking millennial wokeism that we're calling out some motherfucker, like saying that it's a free speech issue. Nobody's saying that he can't say it. We're calling out the fact that it's a fucking shitty, stupid asshole thing to say and do. He can say it all he wants, but I have the same goddamn right to call that motherfucker an asshole because he's an asshole for making those accusations against Brodie Lee's family and AEW.
So, Jim, how do you feel about it?
Jim has just used up all of our fucks and assholes for an entire show. There's none left, guys. We cannot swear anymore.
We officially, for the rest of 2020, have no fucks left to give.
We're
none,
out.
None. They're all out.
We're fresh out.
So wrestling.
I have
journalism-
not seen anybody that hot since I saw JD from New York watch Raw.
Or me talk
Also,
about
fuck
Damian
JD
Priest.
from New York. But so my worst, and it came in at the 11th hour, is wrestling journalism. But it is and was the absolute worst of 2020. So let's pause here. Let's go to our sponsor. Let's hear from the Arena Eats. Let's hear from our home network and GSC Sports. On the other side, we're going to talk our best matches of 2020 and things we may look forward to in 2021. Stick with us. 3 Count Thursday.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. Welcome back to 3 Counts Thursday. We are closing out the year that was in 2020, and we are going to take a look back at our, as we do every year, as we close out the calendar year. We look back at our matches of the year, our top matches of the year, and then we're going to do something a little bit different this year. We're going to make some predictions for what we think could happen in 2021. So,
Jim, are these our top matches, as in like the best matches in the world?
Though it could be said
best in the world.
No,
for this year,
it could be said. It could be said that they're the best.
Could
in the
be.
world.
Okay, I'm just wondering if it could be said that.
Look, all right. I'll here. Can I'll? You know what? If we can get a gentleman's listen.
We're gonna listen. We're gonna listen.
If we can get a gentleman's agreement that in 2021,
Shane McMahon,
we can get a new meme. I will say it for the last time in 2020.
Wait, we would get a new what? I'm sorry.
A new meme.
I was busy saying Shane McMahon. What?
A new meme. If we can get a new meme in 2021,
the best.
I will fucking quit this podcast.
I didn't hear what you said. I said Shane McMahon, and we were talking. I didn't.
Shane McMahon.
I cut you off. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Sorry.
I'm sorry myself. I didn't mean to do it. I meant it. I meant it 100%. It slips right out of my tongue. It's all of the water that I've been drinking has an adverse effect on me.
Here's my motion, and majority can rule on this vote. In 2021, if Ryan or Jim say the name of the person that they love to say, it doesn't count.
I vote nay on that.
That's why I said majority rules.
Ryan, vote.
Oh, that's obviously a nay.
Tim?
Nay.
I don't know what's been said over the last 5 minutes because I quit the podcast and now I'm back.
I said that in 2021, if Ryan or Jim say that name, then it doesn't result. If you, me, or Mark would say it, then that's one thing. But these two set themselves
I
up.
will not say it.
Right. So that's why you're.
So are you a yay or a nay vote?
For what?
That if Ryan or I would say that name moving forward in 2021, that I'm not allowed to play.
Correct.
The clip.
Yes.
So you're a yay.
Yes.
So
no more.
It's 2-2. Intern Mark, you are the.
Oh, hi, Mark.
You are the tie-breaking vote. Are you a yay to only you or Tim or Matt can summon the great Greg Hamilton, or can anybody summon the great Greg Hamilton?
Boy, I'll tell you, I think it's part of the podcast charm that anybody can summon him. So
are you a nay vote?
The nays win.
I'm gonna have to throw down the nay, and I'm sorry if that upsets anybody.
Here we go. Money talk.
Why are you even playing that? No one said the name.
Well, that's just a clip, man.
That's just a clip.
It's not.
I'm gonna block it. I'm gonna block it. Make it happen.
I'm gonna take a walk for about 2 minutes. You guys think about what you just did for 2021. And I'll be back for my pick number 5. Y'all can sit here and y'all can stew. Y'all can stew in your filth. You poop mouths. When you poop in your mouth, you poop mouth. You're going to sit here and you're going to say this. You're going to make this. It's hard enough.
We broke Tim. We broke him.
No, I'm walking.
Here's why
I'll
it
be
doesn't
back.
make sense. Like Ryan
You ruined
clearly
this.
just does it for the sake of saying it. Like if it could come organically.
It wouldn't come organically today.
It should.
If it didn't come over Raw Underground, which should have fucking been listed as one of the bad things, by the way.
You could have said it. You could have said it. You took the cop-out answer and said, "Ooh, COVID-19."
I took
what an
the
asshole.
answer
Fuck you, Ryan.
that the WWE senselessly fired multiple people during a pandemic, not the cop-out answer of
I said
COVID-19.
Shane McMahon.
Well, I can't do it again. You can only play it
do it once.
I mean,
There are
you
rules
don't-
to this.
Oh, okay. So now all of a sudden we don't play the "Here Comes the Money" clip.
Oh, I mean, I can do that again.
Yeah, thank you. That would have drowned out Ryan's bullshit that he was saying.
I stopped talking. Here's all I want. I want Tim to come back and put his earbuds in.
You blew it.
And just at that moment, Jim, just play it again.
Sure, I don't even need to finish it, right? I can just start it.
You can just start it.
Just to get the
I
reaction.
just want to see his eye twitch, and then you can turn it right off.
Just so his head actually explodes.
Poor Tim. He's
Yeah.
upset.
He seems hot. He just went to pee.
Yeah, it's okay. We've been here a little while.
Ryan, I hope the contract you signed with Tate was like him actually like taking your full bank account.
In the world.
Okay, no, Tim, no. I stopped.
That was a joke.
It was a joke.
He's done.
We're kidding. We're joking.
Joke.
We're joking.
Done.
It's over.
He's
It's
done.
over.
We know you took it out.
It's over.
Put it back in.
Can't hear you. I
put
can
it
talk,
back
but
in.
you can't hear me.
Put it back
we
in.
can hear you.
It's over.
That was about the reaction I thought he would have.
That's about what we expect.
You gonna cue it up again? No, don't.
No.
That would be on brand.
It
On
would
brand
be
for Ryan.
It would be if you had the board. You would.
I would just play it all the time.
Next time the lights are coming off and I'm leaving.
You know what happens then?
We. Ooh.
Oh my.
Come in my face.
Okay.
I thought we were gonna get the George guy on my clip there.
Well, yeah. I mean, that one's there. That one.
Oh my.
Unless we forget.
So many good sound clips.
I am proud of the board. I'm not gonna lie.
So, who survived Whamageddon this year besides me?
Marcus.
No, did Marcus make it? Nice. Well done, Marcus. Okay. Let's let's get to our top 5 matches of the year. There's obviously a countdown that we always do. Before we actually start with number 5, anybody have any honorable mentions that didn't quite make their top 5 list? Yes, Matt.
I mean, we all have honorable mentions. Don't we want to do those last in case any of the honorable mentions get named?
Fair.
during?
I like that. So, Matt, let's actually start with you. What is your number 5 match of 2020?
My number 5 match, and I kind of felt cheap saying this because it should be a good match, but it was what someone chose as the moment of the year or something, best of the year. But it was the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble. I thought that had so much in it. I liked the winner. I liked, for all intents and purposes, the Brock domination. I liked the Keith Lee spot. I liked Edge's return. I thought that whole Rumble match was just fantastic. So that was my number 5.
Very good. Intern Mark, what is your number 5 match of 2020?
You know what? I had Royal Rumble men's match listed as well. And I think a lot of times the Royal Rumble kind of gets missed on year end because it happens so early in the year, and people forget that it is an actual match. You know, there's 30 competitors, but yeah, Edge's return and Lesnar's domination. I thought that was a very good match.
I'll be honest, it was one of my honorable mentions. And yeah, I've watched. There's not many Royal Rumble matches I've watched multiple times. This is one of them. I've watched it multiple times. Tim, what is your number 5 match of 2020?
Well, my number 5 match is a match from Raw Underground. It's Riddick Moss versus Titus O'Neil.
Oh wow, okay. And Ryan, you look like you're just giggling. Ryan, number 5.
My number 5. My number 5 match had a great tagline to it, which is what I appreciate about professional wrestling. My number 5 match was from WWE Battleground. It was titled "The Greatest Wrestling Match Ever." Who'd have think in 2020 I'd be talking about Edge and Randy Orton as a match that I actually enjoyed.
Edge
that ran about 45 minutes. I thought it was a wrestling masterpiece, a good, long, well-timed match. So that is my answer. Would be the Edge Randy Orton match from Battleground.
Tim, are you sticking with your original answer? That wasn't.
Oh, y'all are getting what y'all get.
Fair enough.
Y'all think just summoning the devil whenever the fuck y'all want is just gonna be okay with me. Y'all are about to get 5 motherfucking Raw Underground matches as the best of 2020.
Look at that, and I could have brought his name up during Tim's pick.
Shane McMahon, I don't care.
I did
Go
rush
ahead.
it. That's my
Hit
fault.
Hit it. I'm dead
That's my
inside.
fault.
No money talk.
Here comes the money.
Is it
My
a
10th
Greg Hamilton thing, or is it a Shane McMahon thing?
My 10th best match of 2020 was the Best Friends versus Proud and Powerful, the parking lot brawl on Dynamite.
Good one. That is a good one. My number 5 is the Elite defeating the Inner Circle at the Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing back in May. That was my number 5 match of the year 2020. I will kick off our number 4 round, and I will go with the Undisputed Era defeating Team McAfee at in a War Games match at NXT TakeOver War Games just this month in December. I it could be partially recency bias, but that match was absolute fucking brilliance. And Pat McAfee for NXT champion in 2021. Tim, your number 9 match and number 4.
My number 4 match is Shayna Baszler versus 3 women in Raw Underground. But my number 9, excuse me, is Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega at Full Gear.
That's a good one. Ryan, you're number 4.
Both solid choices. That Shayna Baszler match made my honorable mentions for sure. NXT War Games actually did make my honorable mentions, Jim, so I won't repeat that later. I'll cross it right off my list. My number 4 match was AEW's first step into cinematic matches and the Stadium Stampede match. I thought it was a lot of fun. I loved particularly Hardy switching between different versions of himself in a pool. A match that has drinking, horses, and super kicks is right up my alley. So number 4.
Perfect. Intern Mark, your number 4 match of 2020.
I have Sasha Banks against Bailey, and that was the Hell in the Cell, I believe it was.
It was. 4. And then Matt, your number 4 match of the year.
I actually had the Bailey and Sasha match in my honorable mention, so I will cross that one off. Let me make the scratching sounds that Ryan felt the need to do.
I mean, I did. I have
a scratch your pen.
I have a pen and I scratched it. I did.
All right. And for me, my number 4 was Ospreay versus Takahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 14. Simpler times back then.
Wait, what's the Wrestle Kingdom? I have no idea.
2020. Those were strange times, right? Where people were like going places and not wearing masks, and things were okay in the world.
Wild times, man. Wild times. And you're just making shit up. Wrestle Kingdom. I don't even know what the fuck that is. No, that's that was a solid match as well. So let's start the round of 3, and we'll kick it right back and go back in reverse order again. Matt, what is your number 3 match of 2020?
My number 3 match was actually the one you just listed, Jim. It was the Undisputed Era versus Team McAfee at War Games. Thought that was a phenomenal match. I feel like someone on this podcast just said Pat McAfee doesn't belong in a wrestling ring. So
fake news.
Kudos to that person for apologizing, I guess. They have been wrong before. But I thought that the War Games match is a lot better than the actual singles match as well, and all was said and done.
Intern Mark, your number 3 match of 2020.
Number 3. Let me see here. I had that parking lot or the stadium brawl. With Jericho, you guys mentioned it last round. I had that as number 3. I thought it was very entertaining. I liked it a lot. I'm going to give it a number 3.
Very good. The Stadium Stampede.
Stadium Stampede, that's what it was called. Yeah.
Oh man, I just saw a commercial because I have the Florida Oklahoma game on, and I saw a commercial for Sonic, and it reminded me that all the Sonics in Lancaster County are closed now. Which, like, I never went to them, very rarely went to them, but like their commercials always look delicious. Ryan, your number 3 match of the year.
I feel like we'll still get the commercials. You should be all right.
Yeah, but I mean, if I actually would want to go, now I don't have the option, and that hurts.
Yeah, I get it. Their burgers were okay.
You know,
I just deleted my Sonic app.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't.
There was one like across the street from where the KPW used to run, and you never went there.
Well, because Ryan wanted to go to we as a collective went to the Red Robin.
Did the Red Robin,
which delicious burgers. And then Ryan occasionally would want to go to Friendly's and blow out his O-ring.
Excuse me, I have 3 more Raw Underground matches to talk about. Can we keep going, please?
It was the coleslaw.
We'll go back to you, Tim.
Such an odd flavor to want to end on. So salty. we have NXT WWE NXT UK from October the 29th. It is the NXT UK Championship between Walter and Ilya Dragunov. Jim, your boy Dave Meltzer gave this a 5-star match for
I have no idea who that is.
the guy that you often tweet about. I think it's an absolute must-watch match. It was entertaining, I think, for today.
Is that that tag match you were telling me about?
No,
that was an older one.
That was back in January, 2 years ago.
2 years.
You haven't watched yet. I think it was entertaining enough for sports entertainment fans to really enjoy it, but wrestling purists to enjoy it as well. For Meltzer to give it as what he gave, and then like Cornette to praise this match too, it's a must watch.
But the real question is, was it wrestling done right, Ryan?
It was, bro.
Wow, that's impressive. Not many matches can do that, especially under the veil of the WWE. So, Tim, your number 3 and number 8 matches of the year.
So my number 8 match of the year is Io Shirai versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at NXT In Your House. But my number 3 match of the year is Kevin Owens versus Aleister Black from Raw Underground.
I love all of this, Tim.
It was such a good match. My number 3 takes us back to my best of the year, the 2020 Royal Rumble. But it was the Fiend defeating Daniel Bryan to retain the Universal title in a strap match at that pay-per-view. Because it really kind of caught me off guard. I did not expect. I think Daniel Bryan it was like 32 hits from the strap, and it just the fact that they actually did a strap match and they didn't like bitch out on it really kind of caught me off guard. So kudos to Daniel Bryan and the Fiend for that one. So I will kick off the round of 2. This is one that I think Mark had already mentioned, and Matt, I think you had it in your honorable mentions. It takes us to the Hell in a Cell show in October. Sasha Banks defeating Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. You know, I still wish that story would have been told longer. I think you could have played that story out till Rumble or Mania, but it gave us a fantastic Hell in a Cell match. That those two absolutely and they improvised when some things didn't work out well as they were trying to set it up. Just a well executed match. I absolutely loved it. So Tim, we will go to you for your number 2 and your number 7 matches of the
So my number 7 match, really nice, Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver 30. But my number 2 match of the entire year of 2020 is Dolph Ziggler versus Arturo Ruas from Raw Underground.
That's an all-time classic. I don't care who you are. If Uncle Dave doesn't like that, he can stick it up his ass. Ryan, you're number 2.
That's the guy I was talking about last time.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't know who this Meltzer character is, but Uncle Dave, Dave. Absolutely the worst.
Yeah, my number 2 match came from WWE's WrestleMania, the 36th installation of it. It would be the Boneyard match between AJ Styles and The Undertaker. This was our first cinematic match of 2020, and wow, what a job well done. Couldn't think of a better way for The Undertaker to end his career and then have to go and do it again at that other show. But what a great way to end Taker.
Intern Mark, your number 2 match.
My number 2. I actually have the same number 2 as Smokey. I have the Boneyard match. Just being the first cinematic match and Undertaker's final match, I think it deserved the number 2 spot for 2020.
Matt, how about you? Number 2.
For me, it was Paige and Omega versus the Young Bucks at AEW Revolution. I thought that was kind of like the tag team wrestling match of the year for me. So, yeah, that was it.
All right. And Matt, we'll go back to you. Let's start the round of one. Our top match of the year 2020. Matt, what is your number one match in pro wrestling this year?
I'm going back again to simpler times, January of 2020, at Wrestle Kingdom 14, and that was Okada versus Ibushi. I remember watching that early on, thinking that it would be tough for any match to top that throughout the year, and I think it just held up throughout.
Intern Mark, your number one match of 2020.
My number one match happened recently. It was the men's War Games in NXT. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been a long time since I really enjoyed a match to that level, and so I'm going to go with the men's War Games.
Oh, very good. Men's War Games number one. Ryan, your number one match of 2020.
There's a lot of stress here because I worry that Tim will also have the same number one match as me in this round. So
Ain't a chance, bud.
That's fair. That's fair. I have match number 2 as my number one. Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus the Young Bucks back in February at AEW Revolution. This is Jim. It's Uncle Dave's only 6-star match of 2020. His highest rated match in over 2 years. You have to go back to
who the hell is this?
2018 to get a match ranked higher than that. I think it's the best tag team match of all year, bar none. It might be the best tag team match I've seen in a long time. I'd have to think real hard to find a better tag team match. I thought it was great storytelling, something that even new fans could pick up right away and really get into the match. It was over 30 minutes, plus all the super kicks. What's not to love?
And Tim, your number one and number 6 matches of the year.
My number 6 match is actually from Raw Underground. It's Dabba-Kato versus Braun Strowman.
So good.
But my number one, and I said this as soon as the match happened, that there's no match that has or ever will be as great as this match. It is my new favorite match of all time. I'll stand by it. It is Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, Hell in a Cell.
That is a great match. My number one is multiple people's number 2 match, and that is the Boneyard match, The Undertaker defeating AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And it just when they said a Boneyard match, what the fuck is a Boneyard match? And it didn't deliver, it over delivered, and it kicked off the cinematic matches that were the story for the next couple of months, both in WWE and in AEW. But it was perfection, and what a way for the Undertaker to have his last victory in the World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. Just perfect, absolutely perfect. So let's go around. Obviously, the honorable mentions. I'll give one of mine here, and this isn't just because of the events of the last couple of days. This has been on my list since the match happened on May 23rd. Moxley defeating Brodie Lee to retain the AEW championship at Double or Nothing. That match was spectacular. Those two guys absolutely went for it. I actually had kind of put my top 5 and honorable mentions together last week. So, what's happened over the last few days didn't have an impact on mine. So that's one of my honorable mentions. We'll go around so I don't necessarily take anybody else's. Ryan, do you have any honorable mentions?
The only other one I had listed down was Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin at NXT UK TakeOver back in January 12th. Again, when everything was new all over again.
Tim, did you have any?
I had the one time that Shane McMahon fist bumped DeAndre the Giant at the door of Raw Underground.
Good moment. That was moment of the year, really.
No, that was actually a
Oh
match.
my
That was they faced off and they punched
Oh.
each other in the fist,
That is a match.
and that's a match.
Wow.
Mark, do you have
That's-
any honorable mentions?
Boy, I don't know if I can top that, but my honorable mention was Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, the I Quit match. Yeah, told a great story, and the story's still going on. So,
I mean, I'm shocked that wasn't Matt's number one, to be honest. Matt, do you have any honorable mentions?
I mean, it was one of my honorable mentions, as I stated, or you saw the pens. Did you not hear the pen scratching?
I did hear the
he
pen
scratched
scratching.
it off.
it was
Okay.
pen scratch.
Yeah, both the that and the Sasha Bailey Hell in a Cell were on my honorable mention, and then the Firefly Funhouse match was also an honorable mention for me. I thought that was probably my favorite cinematic match of the year. And that would work if I'd like did any theatrics this whole show, but I didn't. So, not on the T movie is a shit movie.
Oh, oh no. Oh no.
Wow.
I had the Firefly Funhouse on mine. If we had collectively voted to do a cinematic and a regular match countdown, that would have been my number two, but that was on my honorable mentions. And my other one was Deonna Purrazzo defeating Jordan Grace for the Knockout Championship at Slammiversary in July. Two people that we have seen over the years on the independents, and they were given the spot on that show, and they absolutely killed it. So I had Deonna and Jordan Grace on that one as an honorable mention. So those are our top matches, and obviously, as you're listening to this, if you want to hit us up on social media and give us your match of the year, we would appreciate that as well. If you're not watching the video for this, then you're just absolutely making mistakes. I had plenty of others. I think I had something like 22 matches that I had put down that I had to pick from for the year. I know.
Really
Shock.
put 22 matches down.
I don't. Let me actually count them really quick because it may have been 22. So I had the 4 honorable mentions. I had the 5. So let me go here. There's 19. So close to actually hitting 22. But this was a topic that on my sports show Huddle Up podcast, my brother had thrown out a few weeks back in November. He said, what are some scenarios that are like crazy but could actually happen still. So it wasn't like something that like the New York Jets could get the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. Like it had to be something that could realistically happen. So I decided to kind of take that idea and morph it into 2 separate things as we look ahead to the year 2021. So I want to do a round of what is a wild prediction for 2021 that actually could happen, that we think, yeah, it's out there. It's but there's a realistic, albeit very small, chance that it could happen. And then there's something that is just throw it at the fucking wall. There's no chance, 0% chance that this could actually happen.
0.0.
But let's have a little fun with it as we look ahead in the calendar. Let's start with things that could actually happen. Like I'll kick it off. And if you listen to oral sessions with Renee Young, which depending on the guest, I actually enjoy the podcast. I've listened to the Maurice episode, the Moxley episode, and the CM Punk episode. My wild prediction for 2021 that actually I think could happen: CM Punk returns at the Royal Rumble and then becomes WWE champion at WrestleMania 37, wherever it might be. It could still be in Hollywood, probably going to be in Tampa. We don't know, but CM Punk is your Royal Rumble and WWE champion at WrestleMania 37. So who wants to go next here? Tim.
So my prediction is that WrestleMania 37 will be held in front of a live audience at Tropicana Field, and it will be comprised of 13 Raw Underground style matches.
Yes. The buy rate will be astronomical.
Huge.
The main event
Huge.
The main event of WrestleMania will be Conor McGregor versus Shane McMahon.
I'd watch.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
You can't kill what's already dead, Jim. I'm already dead.
This is a fun podcast.
I love this. I love this so much.
Tim, I love you so much, Tim.
We're
gonna normalize loving each other.
Mm-hmm.
Genders excluded. I love you, Tim.
I'm a sausage guy.
Oh, come on. No, you have to fuck.
Ryan, let's go to you next. A wild prediction for 2021 that could actually happen.
I can't wait to hear what Tim's that couldn't happen. What that's gonna sound like. My wild prediction that I think will happen, and I did a little bit of looking into this. I believe Daniel Bryan's contract runs out in 2021. I believe we could see Daniel Bryan being an AEW World Champion by the end of 2021.
Ooh, that's spicy. I like it though. I like the idea. I like to see where it could go. Intern Mark, what is a wild prediction that could happen in 2021?
Well, I had CM Punk listed, but since that was taken, I'll go with Goldberg becoming WWE champion.
I didn't say an obvious thing that was going to happen in 2021, Mark. I said a wild prediction.
Yeah, that. I really hope that doesn't come true.
God, I hope not. But I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared that's gonna happen. And I feel like Matt's just sitting over there ready to say, "You asked for this."
You did. You fucking did.
Poor Matt.
You have no one to blame but yourselves. You and Ryan. It's on the two of you. Here's what's gonna happen. Goldberg's gonna come back and win the Royal Rumble. Number one contender. He's going to have a spear versus spear match at WrestleMania where we see 28 spears in the span of like 4.5 minutes. And Goldberg's going to hoist the title. And then at SummerSlam, is the thing that might happen, is we're going to see Goldberg versus Shane McMahon. And that would definitely serve the both of you right.
Well, what's going to happen? So following up on that, Shane McMahon will actually be in Goldberg's corner for the match at WrestleMania to counteract the Paul Heyman outside interference. And then Shane will actually turn on Goldberg leading into that SummerSlam.
That was strangely arousing
to allow for that to happen. And then of course, Shane McMahon would beat Goldberg.
Come in my face
with a jackhammer. Of all things, to win.
Jim plays these sound clips like it's a joke, but you were so pissed when Shane beat Miz at WrestleMania.
I was pissed. I absolutely was pissed.
That served you right too.
Shane McMahon will be the Universal Champion. That's not even
I
my
hope so, because
that's not even my 0.0. That's not even it.
Because that's gonna be a new baseball jersey, and you could damn well be sure that that's Matt's Christmas present next year.
Come on. I have a new fireplace.
Matt, I still have failing to see your framed Shane McMahon jersey. Are you just making sure that you get the right framing and shadow boxing done? You're looking for the perfect combination.
Expense on that.
Matt, what is your wild prediction that could actually happen in 2021?
I thought that's what we just did.
Oh, you were actually being for real?
That could actually. Would you be surprised if Shane McMahon won any sort of title from Goldberg?
I mean, at this point, no. I thought you were just being funny, just building off of Mark. Was that actually your answer?
Yeah, that could happen.
All right. Well, let's start it off then with you on the other way. What is a wild prediction for 2021 that actually has no chance of happening?
So the no chance of happening match is The Undertaker comes out of retirement and puts young buck Shane McMahon over this time because the last WrestleMania match he just wasn't feeling satisfied with. He needs that to happen again. And this time they wrestle in a casket match, but Vince is already in the casket. That's my 0.0 match.
Very, very good. Let's put the exclamation on that one.
0.0.
Intern Mark, what is your wild prediction that has no chance of coming true in 2021?
I'd say a rematch between Goldberg and Undertaker from that Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, you had to bring that up, didn't you?
0.0.
Tim, I'm afraid to ask this question. What is your 0 chance wild prediction for 2021?
Well, anything I was going to say about Raw Underground can't make this because that's 100% going to happen. But my 0.0 is actually that World Wrestling Entertainment will be sold outright to the Walt Disney Corporation.
Oh.
0.0.
Damn. Ryan, your no chance match or situation of 2021.
My absolute no chance situation is that Santa Claus will win our Christmas poll. 0% chance. That's not happening.
0.0.
Do we get any findings on that?
I think there's still like 7 days left, right?
Voting is still open. It closes next Thursday at noon Eastern time because I figured let's run this thing till we actually are live again. And we will get the results on air next week when we are back live.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this right now. People are voting for the artists instead of the songs, and I need y'all to stop that.
You got an opportunity. There's 7 days left. Make your pitch.
No, because you can't vote twice, so I'm already screwed because people don't read.
I'll say this. 2 people out of 5 are just clearly begging for votes on social media, too.
I will do that.
I'm
not begging for nothing.
I know.
I'm letting the strength of my schedule. Like, I know that I didn't have
even a beg. It was fact.
I didn't.
It's a clear beg when you post it on your own wall and you're like, well, clearly I won.
Clearly I did.
I don't think I had the best draft.
It's the
I'd
same
hate
for
for
people
people
that
to have to share three
I'm
Count
not
Thursday
last.
stuff on their own wall.
I'm not last.
Hate to see it.
Okay. There's no reason that Mark should have won the Halloween candy one, and we all know that, but he shared it on his own wall and people voted for him.
You got the right to vote. What do you say?
The Amish came out for me. They love Halloween.
Mark, the Wonka bar hasn't existed since like 1988. How the fuck are you picking the Wonka bar?
Wrong, mister. Wrong.
Wrong, mister. Wrong.
You had the first overall pick. You go to Hershey Park like 26 times in a day, and you took the whatchamacallit with the first overall pick.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Again, tinyurl.com/3CT Christmas music draft, I believe. Go to our fucking social media.
I would take Ryan's bottle.
I've been in the bag for hours, folks.
Are you serious?
I appreciate that. That's
100%
right.
serious.
I appreciate that.
But
Santa Claus started strong, but he actually legitimately voted for Dominic the Christmas Donkey as a song on his list. And that should, by all accounts, disqualify Santa Claus from being in the being a part
There's no
of it.
chance he wins. He can even rope in all of his elves. It's not going to happen.
Santa's going to take it.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and Rudolph could all stomp on the vote button with all of their 9x4 hooves.
Dude, my God, I am loving watching Florida just get absolutely mud stomped in this Cotton Bowl. 55-13, and there's still plenty of game left.
You know, those are children you're watching. They're not even actual professional athletes. So it's really bad. It's really horrible that you're just laughing at the pain of young children.
I'll leave
who aren't even going to be good enough to be pros.
Oh, Jesus.
Tim, they get compensated appropriately.
I will go to my...
That wasn't my real choice.
So that's a clear reflection of how Tim feels about independent wrestling.
Oh,
it's different.
Snap.
It's different.
They get paid at least.
They do.
You act like college athletes don't get paid. Okay.
Not legally.
As much as Shaq got paid in college.
Ryan, what's your actual answer?
My actual, and it's very unfortunate. I believe that Vince McMahon has zero vision for this. I believe there is zero chance that Keith Lee wears championship gold in 2021. There is, I don't believe it.
Zero.
They have nothing for him, and it's a goddamn shame.
Yeah, I feel like you are, but that you said that has no chance of it. Okay, I see. Yeah,
no chance in hell.
Yeah, that's unfortunately I can see that coming true. I will go with mine that the mortician Mark Calloway will make his All Elite Wrestling debut, and he has a match with Sting for a loser breaks their hip first match at All Out in August of 2021. That is my
you done made Mark leave. Look at you.
0.0.
That is my my prediction that has no chance of happening next year.
See, the Mortician would be more of an Impact Zone appearance, I would say, than
what would be his name in AEW?
I don't know.
That's tough.
Like you couldn't go. You couldn't
Impact.
go.
Impact's always been like the what's Bork Laser doing in the Impact Zone?
Like you couldn't go with Mean Mark because that's obviously a WC, and you couldn't go Angry Mark because obviously that's trademark to Under the Mat Radio. So I mean, Frustrated Mark, Disgruntled Mark.
I think you get if it happens, it's a version of the American Badass. So it'll be something like the Hell Rider.
Ooh.
Something like that.
Ooh, that just sounds terrible.
I'm assuming the WWE owns the trademarks to the Dead Man.
I would imagine.
I'm sure they own Dead Man, American Badass, Big Evil, Red Devil, Booger Red, the Phenom, what else do they call the Conscience? Like they have what?
I could see AEW trying to skirt around it and be like the Dead Man, like Dead and Man definitely have a space, and then just call him the Dead Man Mark Calloway.
I could see that. I don't think he shows up there. If he didn't go to WCW in the 90s when they probably were offering him quite the penny to head over there.
Mean Mark McCool is going to show up.
Mean McCool, just Mean McCool.
Maybe he does like what Rusev does and like come over in like a Gucci shirt. and just plays video games or some shit. Who
Come in
knows?
my face.
If that happens, I'll wear a fucking dress on.
He's
this
the
show.
dead man.
You all heard him.
Mark.
All right. That, quite frankly, I have nothing else. Let's maybe throw out some closing thoughts on the year that was in 2020. If anybody wants to jump us off, feel free to volunteer. Otherwise, I will take it first. Anybody want to go first?
I'll get it out of the way. I cannot wait to give 2020 its future endeavor slip here in a day and a half or whatever it is. And I want it to be known, my New Year's resolution is to go 1 month without saying his name. I'm going to do it for you guys.
Not gonna happen.
It will be 1 month. That's my New Year's resolution to you guys because I love you.
Ryan, I'm proud of you. If you could make it, you quit smoking. I know intern Mark still calls you Smokey, but I'm proud of you
For some reason.
for taking this. But anybody else got anything to leave the year that was?
Visit the Instagram page. We just announced our 2020 Woman of the Year, Amaris Blair. We did not. I did not post as often as I usually do. 2020 was just kind of a strange year, but I've already talked to the first 12 women that we have set to feature in 2021. They all gave their stamp of approval. So we do have 3 months worth of Women of the Week set up for 2021. That will start on January the 3rd. So in the meantime, make sure you go and give a like to our 2020 Woman of the Year. We made a donation in her honor. Second place finisher was Amber Rodriguez. Donation was made in honor of her as well to the charity of her choosing. So we look forward to doing that again in 2021. But just make sure you're following at Recount Thursday on Instagram, and then follow every single person that we feature on there because they're all awesome people.
Intern Mark, do you have anything to add to close up 2020?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just discovered I have this device. It's called a super box. So if anybody's interested, you go on eBay, you can find it. And basically, if you have internet, you can get the television for free. I just realized that the AEW pay-per-views are on here for free. So that's exciting. You can watch the old AEW pay-per-views. So there's a little tidbit of information. Everybody have a very happy and, more importantly, a safe new year. I look forward to seeing everybody in 2021.
Very good. Tim, you have anything to close up the year that was?
I want to give a shout out to Mark for not knowing what pirating is.
If you couldn't buy it on eBay if it was illegal.
Yes, you can. I bet if I searched hard enough, I could find a kidney. Shout out to
it's called a super box.
Yeah, look, don't plug it anymore. We're gonna get pulled, and then we're all gonna get brought into questioning at the pokey. Don't tell me how to spell it either. I don't need to know. At Not the Tool Man across all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Twitch.tv/Not the Tool Man. But what's eating up all of my time aside from this podcast, Final Wrestling Place drops Mondays at midnight. On your podcatcher of choice, on Twitter, it's at Final Place Pod. We start 2021 with the end of season 14. We are doing the live joint watch along. I'm gonna make my way down to Pennsylvania and sit with my boy. And everything is down. Stop. Everything is down. I'm hanging out with my boy Marcus. We're going to have some pizza. We're going to have some Confederate champagne, the Coca-Cola Classic. And we are going to watch the blackest moment in SmackDown history, the wedding of Teddy Long and Crystal Marshall. If you haven't watched it, I'd suggest you go and do so. It's an amazing site. It's so much fun, and that's all I got.
I'm going to close it with this. I said it last week, but I'm going to reiterate it. And based on the events of the last couple of days, I think it's important to say, I love you guys. This year has been terrible. You know, I've been out of work since the last day of March. It was the last day I worked at my job, a job I've been at for 16 years. God willing, I'll be back sometime in 2021. But this show became more important to me, with the exception of like my family. I obviously my wife, my dog, my family. This became one of the most important things in my entire life in this year. This gave me something to look forward to. This gave me a purpose. This gave me an outlet to, quite frankly, figure out what fucking day of the week it is in this year. So I can't thank the four of you enough. I can't thank the listeners of this show enough, and everybody that supported us for the last 6+ years, for the independent companies that we work for, and hopefully we'll get to work for again in 2021. So I closed 2020 with a fuck you 2020, but a thank you to you guys, and a thank you to the 3 Count Thursday audience, and quite frankly, a thank you to professional wrestling, because when everything else went away, pro wrestling was still there, like it's been for me since I was 4 years old. And I can't thank it, and I can't thank you enough. So 3countthursday.com, ngscsports.com. But seriously, thank you all. And we'll be back live next week, and we're going to be live through 2021 as we continue to be. And hopefully at some point in 2021, the 5 of us can get together, not on Zoom, but in a real place, break bread together, drink beers together, watch wrestling together, as it used to be in the past. But again, thank you all for all your support through 2020, and we will talk to you again in 2021. Stay safe, take care, everybody, and go for the pin. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?